Unit 4, Lesson 16, Solving Problems Involving Fractions. Number 1. An orange has about 1/4 cup of juice. How many oranges are needed to make 2½ cups of juice? Select all equations that represent this question. I selected A, what number times 1/4 equals 2½ and D, 2½ divided by 1/4 equals what number? Number 2. Claire, and Tyler are hiking from a parking lot to the summit of a mountain. They pass a sign that gives distances. The first sign says parking lot, 3/4 of a mile. The second sign says summit, 1½ miles. Says we are 1/3 of the way there. Claire says we have to go twice as far as we have already gone. And Tyler says the total hike is 3 times as long as what we have already gone. Can they all be correct? Explain how you know. Says we're 1/3 of the way there, and if you look at this number line, you'll see the location of the signs is at the 3/4 of a mile mark, which is 1/3 of their trip. They still have 2/3 to go before they reach the summit. Claire says we have to go twice as far as we have already gone, and if you look at the number line, it's been divided up into 1/4 of a mile. The location of the signs is at 3/4, that's where they're standing now, and they need to go an additional 6/4 before they reach the summit. 6/4 is twice as far as 3/4. Tyler says the total hike is 3 times as long as what we have already gone. If you look at the number line, you'll see it's divided up into 4ths. They've already traveled 3/4 of a mile, and the total trip to the summit is 9/4 of a mile. 9/4 of a mile is 3 times as long as 3/4 of a mile. Yes, all 3 of them can be correct. Number 3. Priya's cat weighs 5½ pounds and her dog weighs 8¼ pounds. Estimate the missing number in each statement before calculating the answer. Then compare your answer to the estimate and explain any discrepancy. A. The cat is 2/3 as heavy as the dog. B. Their combined weight is 13¾ pounds. C. The dog is 2¾ pounds heavier than the cat. The weight of the cat, 5½ pounds, divided by the weight of the dog, 8¼ pounds, equals 11/2 divided by 33/4, which equals 11/2 times the reciprocal of 33/4, and that equals 2/3. The cat is 2/3 as heavy as the dog. The weight of the cat, 5½ pounds, plus the weight of her dog, 8¼ pounds, equals 11/2 plus 33/4. With a common denominator, that's the same as 22/4 plus 33/4, which equals 55/4, or 55 divided by 4, which is 13¾ pounds. The weight of her dog, 8¼ pound, minus the weight of her cat, 5½ pounds, is the same thing as 33/4 minus 11/2. With a common denominator, that's 33/4 minus 22/4, which equals 11/4, or 2¾ pounds. The dog is 2¾ pounds heavier than the cat. Number 4. Before refrigerators existed, some people had blocks of ice delivered to their homes. A delivery wagon had a storage box in the shape of a rectangular prism that was 7½ feet by 6 feet by 6 feet. The cubic ice blocks stored in the box had side lengths of 1½ feet. How many ice blocks fit in the storage box? To find the volume of the storage box, I multiplied 7½ feet times 6 feet times 6 feet, and I got 270 feet cubed. Next, I need to find the volume of the ice block. 1½ times 1½ times 1½ is the same as 3/2 times 3/2 times 3/2, which equals 27/8. The volume of each ice block would be 27/8 feet squared. So now we need to see how many ice blocks could fit into the storage box. 270 divided by 27/8, which is the same thing as 270 times the reciprocal of 27/8, and that equals 80. You can fit 80 ice blocks in the storage box. Number 5. Fill in the blanks with 1/1000, 1/10, 10, or 1000 so that the value of each quotient is in the correct column. In the close to 100th column, I put 1/10 divided by 9 and 12 divided by 1000. In the close to 1 column, I put 1/10 divided by 12/100ths and 1/8 divided by 10/100ths. In the greater than 100 column, I put 1000 divided by 1/3 and 700 and 7/10ths divided by 1,000ths or divided by 1/10. Number 6. A school club sold 300 shirts. 31% were sold to 5th graders, 52% were sold to 6th graders, and the rest were sold to teachers. How many shirts were sold to each group? 5th graders, 6th graders, and teachers. Explain or show your reasoning. I was able to make this chart with the information that they gave me. They told me that they sold 300 shirts, so I know 100% of the shirts is 300. 50% of 300 would be half of 300, or 150 shirts. 10% of 300 would be 30. 1% of 300 would be 3. To find 2%, I just doubled the value for 1%, so I doubled 3 and I got 6. To find 20%, I just doubled the value for 10%. I doubled 30 and I got 60. Now I'm able to use this chart to see how many shirts were sold to 5th graders, 6th graders, and teachers. First, the 5th grade. Since 31% of the shirts were sold to 5th graders, I need to total 31%. I added up the value for 20%, 10%, and 1%, giving me 31%. And those values were 60 shirts for 20%, 30 shirts for 10%, and 3 shirts for 1%, totaling 93 shirts. 93 shirts were sold to the 5th graders. Next, I used the chart to figure out how many shirts were sold to the 6th graders. Since 52% of the shirts were sold to 6th graders, I added up the value for 50% plus the value for 2%. That would be 150 shirts plus 6 shirts, equaling 156 shirts. 156 shirts were sold to the 6th graders. In order to find out how many shirts were sold to the teachers, I needed to add up the number of shirts sold to the 5th graders and the 6th graders. 93 plus 156 equals 249 shirts sold to the 5th graders and 6th graders altogether. Next, I subtracted 249 shirts that were sold to the 5th and 6th graders from the total number of shirts sold, which was 300. 300 minus 249 equals 51. 51 shirts were sold to the teachers. Number 7. Jada has some pennies and dimes. The ratio of Jada's pennies to dimes is 2 to 3. A. From the information given above, can you determine how many coins Jada has? No, they didn't give us enough information. She could have had 2 pennies and 3 dimes, or 4 pennies and 6 dimes, or any other set of numbers that is equal to a 2 to 3 ratio. B. If Jada has 55 coins, how many of each kind of coin does she have? Across the top, I have pennies written in blue, and across the bottom, I have dimes written in red. Since the ratio is 2 to 3, pennies to dimes, I started out with 2 pennies and 3 dimes, then 4 pennies and 6 dimes, and I continued this pattern until I ran out of room. Fortunately, I had just enough space for the 22 pennies and the 33 dimes, because 22 pennies added to 33 dimes equals 55 coins. C. How much are her coins worth? 22 pennies is worth 22 cents, and 33 dimes is worth $3.30. The total value of all her coins is $3.52. Congratulations! You have completed Unit 4, Lesson 16, Solving Problems Involving Fractions.